The Modern Mystics made another Doom video, but I like this one because well, number one, he said the key word. He said productive labor right at the end is the source of all the value in our economy, the real value. So love that. And it's also, I can look like a real optimist by comparison, because I don't think, doom isn't, no, we can get out of this. There are not easy solutions, don't get me wrong. Okay, it's not going to be easy, but yeah, there's ways to get out of this pretty clean, really clean. No big horror, no catastrophe, no any of that stuff. We can glide to the bottom of the cliff. All right, and find a new life on a new plateau, and just quit looking at the idealistic mountains, and we'll be okay. So anyway, enough metaphors. Let's get to the gist of it. Yeah, it's all this energy equation. So there's two things in the world that are valuable: productive labor and oil. It's this easy way to glean energy. All right, the energy thing, yeah, we're really fucked. But even with the amount of oil we got a ton of oil. It's just we got to use it. We got to maximize its efficiency. We got to use it to its best purpose, and we waste a ton of it. I mean, if the American economy is a perfect example, just colossal waste. So if we got rid of the subsidies to the farming of animals, when that gets real, when the real price of that gets built into the equation, okay, so that one big huge waste gone, one big huge greenhouse problem gone. All right, let's maximize the harvest. Let's grow stuff that gives us the best yield for the amount of energy that goes into it. All right, and then let's have the rest of the energy grid, let's devote it to running the things we need to run. I mean, technology is great, the computer stuff is great, got to keep the computers running. Computers are a great asset. That technology is very productive. It makes human beings very productive. We get rid of all this fucking commuting, physical commuting, and we start telecommuting, because most jobs, that's all it requires. Let's just put energy where it needs to be put. It needs to be put into people having roofs over their heads and heat and energy in their homes, that kind of thing. That's got to be the priority. So you give people food, and you give them waste disposal, and you give them heat, and water. You take care of the basics first. And you can do that on 10% of the energy we're squandering, or 30% if you count farming, maybe 40, efficient farming. So it's a doable scenario. It's a fixable problem. We can cut consumption way the hell down, and we can give ourselves more time. We don't have to fall off any damn cliffs. All right, and world population is going to have to be seriously. It's a simple problem. I mean, we can stop having too many babies. So that's just a political solution. That's all it required. A political solution, problem solved. Because it's just bullshit. So whether we go to a voucher system or some other system gives people a fair right to have kids if they must, but a fair right, not a right to fuck the whole planet over. A right to have their damn babies if they must, but nothing more than that. So that's a problem that can be fixed. All right, we stop that problem, and we don't have to keep exponentially growing everything. We can learn how to be a sustainable economy, not a growing economy. A developing and progressing economy that's not dependent on just finding some new way to exploit. And that's the key word here. Let's take the exploitation, the bullshit. So just think about how much of the basic economy, how many people are working, how many people are driving, how many people are engaged in just completely bullshit labor. I mean, the whole marketing industries, fuck that shit. We don't need marketers. We don't need salesmen. We don't need, all this spam and nonsense, all the lies and the bullshit. We got a ton of waste in these economies. There are gigantic, huge maggots feeding on our economy. That's why the economy isn't working. That's why it's got such a hunger for oil, is because there's these big, giant parasites stuck on it, okay? And they don't represent the human population. They represent a tiny percentage of the human population. So let's cut that shit off, all right? We get just, you won't say it, but I'll say it. That we can get rid of the rich. We can cut that cancer off of ourselves. We don't need them. They are not productive labor. They're completely unproductive labor. And just make everybody's life better. We can, we can all be more productive. We can all take more of an active role in our own survival. We can afford to even not use technology and actually do work again if that's our choice, because we'll be able to pay people to work, because we won't be feeding maggots. All right, and we won't be shoving the energy into their bellies, you know, to run their sparkly and shiny and energy consuming world that they force us to exist in with all this waste. So anyway, didn't want to turn it into a rant video. Just calm down, you know. It's doom, you know, but so it gets you a little excited, the doom. But yeah, I think that there's ways out of this, and it's the whole world. Look, theoretically, everything could just stay exactly the way it is. I mean, if we just annihilated the rich, just liquidated all their assets, all their wealth, we can eliminate the deficits. We can make this whole economy sustainable. There's no problem in doing that, and we can still have an incentive economy. It doesn't have to be communism. I mean, you talk like these are only two choices. It's a gulag where the government forces you to work and has a whip and smashes you over the head with frying pans and shit, or it's these capitalist exploitnists. It doesn't have to be those two choices. All right, you can have incentive economics. Just put the incentives in front of the workers. Put the incentive carrots back in front of the workers, and just get rid of the maggots. Get rid of the parasites. We don't need parasites. The economy doesn't need them. The world doesn't need them. The human race doesn't need them. They do nothing. They contribute nothing. They give us nothing. Absolutely nothing. They don't even give us nectar to feed on. They give us nothing. They're just parasites. So eradicate them. Let's quit feeding Jabba the Hutt. Let's just cut him off. Cut him off. Fuck him. You know, let them big fat maggot die and fuck off. We just don't need these maggots anymore, these billionaire bastards controlling our lives and sucking the value out of our lives. Because when you look at everything they produce is crap. It's shit. It's a lie. Oh, well, let's take a 7-year-old motherboard and we'll shove some, 14-year-old parts on it, and we'll put a Soylent processor on it or some other crap, and then we'll fool people and sell it to them and sell them it's a goddamn computer when it's a piece of shit. All right, and all that lying and cheating, that's the capitalist game. So take the incentive to lie out of the system, and you get rid of a ton of waste. You want to get rid of waste? Get rid of lying. Okay? So make it a more open source, honest government, open source, honest business. And fuck all this bullshit. Let's make the line between production and consumption damn straight as fucking straight can goddamn be. Arrow straight. I mean, just as straight can be. No salesman, no middlemen, no bullshit. You actually know what the fuck you're buying. You know its history. You know how it was made. You know who the fuck made it. No more bullshit. I mean, it can be done. And that fixes the system. And it doesn't have to be called communism. All right, you can still make $250,000 a year. You could, and all you have to do is guarantee the minimum and guarantee that you won't go over a maximum. And you can create an economy that'll goddamn work. And they'll take the incentives of the lying and the bullshit out, because every worker will be a goddamn consumer. Every worker, every person will want a fair deal in their employment, and they'll want a fair deal as a consumer. And the only reason why we don't have that now is because all these fucking middlemen can't make any money on a system like that. They can only make money by making the line crooked. So anyway, this is a solvable problem. And then on the energy issue, I would argue real quickly that I think there's some hopes out there. There's some reason to have some hope. You're right, the renewables are dead. I mean, huge amount of labor has to go into making them better. So yeah, let's work on that. Let's spend some money. Let's invest in trying to find a better technology to exploit passive energy that's available. But that atomic thing is the real game. I mean, Einstein told us there is, you can blow up a planet with a goddamn matchstick of matter. I mean, there's a ton of energy locked up in every motherfucking atom. I mean, tons and tons and megatons of energy are in these fucking atoms. And if we can find some way to pluck those things apart without them blowing us to pieces, that's as renewable as you can goddamn get. I mean, that's forever. We could never suck up all that oil. We could never drink all the energy that's in atoms. So we can find some way to start picking them apart in some kind of, efficient manner. I mean, that's the game. So yeah, let's, Manhattan Project kind of thing, but let's find the answer to that problem. Let's find a way to get, matter to decompose for us in some kind of controlled manner where we can just extract the megatons of energy that are in those fuckers. So yeah, enough said, I think. But yeah, it's not. I don't. It's the only thing that's going to ruin us. The only thing that's going to turn the world into the dark horror that you're predicting is the rich people. They're the ones controlling the strings. They're going to make this economy crash. Okay, it doesn't have to crash. It could stay exactly the way it is, just using a little less fuel for 3 or 4 more decades before the fuel thing becomes a real problem. It's the fact that they are forcing us, they're going to force our economies into the toilet. They're going to drive the money, they're going to make the money useless so they can keep their money. And they're going to make the whole structure, the whole economy fall apart. And so they're the evil. And if we just go into it, if we just go into the mission knowing that they're the expendable, okay, then we can preserve our economy, we can preserve the value of our dollar, we can do all of that stuff because they have all the fucking money. They've taken all the value out of the money. They've taken all the value out of the economy. They've taken all the value out of work. So fuck them bastards.